Welcome once again to Space and Harmony, in Harmonia of Life. Unfolding our true tree of life with all its potential, abundance, bliss, implies being aware that we are beings of light, not objects, not things. Unfortunately, traditional medicine, Western medicine, regards us as objects. This is why they give us physical medicines. In the same way, many psychologists consider ourselves as psyches, which depend on electromagnetic and chemical impulses in the brain and the body in general. However, objects are governed by electromagnetic forces, so they are not free. They have no will, but beings of light have will. Will, which is the unfolding of life. Beings of life have a finality, which in Greek is telos. Finality which is not at the end, but in the beginning, in the development, and the end is all over the unfolding, because it's the unfolding of an infinite potential. And the finality has to do with the expression of truth. In Hebrew, truth is emet. When we take out the aleph, the first letter, we get met, death. So we need the light of truth in order to have life. I am the way, the truth, and the life, the calm I give you, said the Master. And the way is the finality, said the awakened one, the Buddha, which was connected to the Master, of course. The unfolding of life, expressing these 4 degrees mentioned by the Master, which we also mentioned in previous episodes, is what I want to expand today. So if you want to listen, follow me in the way. Everything with life has what in Greek was known as telos, finality, hence intelligence, oriented towards a finality which is not at the end, but along the way of life, the fullness, the expansion of our tree of life. And first of all, we have, as we said, the dimension of will. We can begin to live our true finality, opening a space to everything we are. We are an expression of the universal body of being, what ancient traditions know as the universal man, the Adam Katmon, the divine expression of the Infinite One. And this will is not only an opening to this reality, but it's also a wise distribution of all our gifts, our natural gifts. We all have creative gifts to share inside, even though many people don't remember them. But it's time to remember, because that's what makes us beings and not objects. And the distribution of these gifts in this world is known as forgiveness. Forgiveness. This is the meaning of having a crown, being kings of our life. The crown is known in Hebrew as keter. And this will gives us access to the degree of the vision of truth, the dimension of truth as we saw in previous episodes. And it begins with wisdom, chokmah in Hebrew. Wisdom is receiving the seeds of truth, the ideas, the intuitions of what to do, of what is reality, of what we are. But this is not enough very often, for we need understanding why and how, which also implies to be able to organize the intuitions inside. This is true thinking, not the thinking we are used to, but the conscious thinking. And when wisdom and understanding, chokmah and binah in Hebrew, join together, then we have the manifestation of the universal conscience and consciousness. In Hebrew would be that, and is usually translated as knowledge, but this is incorrect. We are not talking about knowledge. This is more than intellectual knowledge. Conscience is the awareness of what we really are, beings of life, expressions of the universal body of the Divine One. And when we become aware of this truth of light and life, then and only then can we access the true degree of vitality. Vitality which has nothing to do with fallen emotions, sensations, and fallen thoughts. Ordinary psychologists do not distinguish very well between this vitality full of consciousness and what we know as feelings, human feelings, sensations, and a very intelligent way of knowing, of understanding true vitality is expressed in the middle section of the tree of life, what's known as the little countenance, or the little face, in the 6 spheres, the first of which is expressed by Abraham, the prophet Abraham, and has to do with hospitality, opening a space, welcoming life, and being hospitable with life means having a tender heart, having mercy. The quality of mercy is a first sphere of vitality. But vitality is also a force that helps us say no to destruction, no to hatred, no to everything that denies life. Let your verb be yes, yes, no, no, because more than this from evil comes, says the Master. Because you are not cold nor hot, I will spit you out from my mouth, he said as well. He was making reference to the force of affirming life, which is denying death. And this leads us to the third sphere of vitality, which is beauty, Tiferet in Hebrew. So we have mercy, Chesed, Geburah, which is the force, and beauty, which is the result of harmonia, when all the elements are unfolding together without conflict. This is an aspect of vitality as well. And this leads us to what we would call success. In ancient times was known as victory, Netzach in Hebrew. Today there is actually a saying which says success without integrity means nothing, which is absolutely true. Integrity is not only the harmonia, but also the fifth sphere of vitality, which is humility. Consciousness helps us see ourselves as we are and make us humble, recognizing that there are forces above us and under us, and that we are also an expression of divine will. So we cannot do whatever our ego pleases. This leads to the sixth aspect of vitality, which is the expansion of our gifts. In Hebrew would be known as Yesod, the foundation, the solid rock in which we begin to be aware of deeper and deeper spheres of being. This is why we grow, we expand, so we become fertile, and thus help life to grow. Finally, we reach the degree of calm, because when we develop, we feel more integrated, so conflict disappears, and we become more aware of the natural calm of true reality, suchness. And all this journey was very well expressed by the Master when he spoke about the parable of the woman who had 10 coins and she lost one, and in order to find it she turned on the lights, which are the lights of being, of course, and swept the house, did the cleaning. In the same way we must clean our house in order to find the lost coin, the most valuable one, which is our true being, our true essence. We cannot expect finding true bliss and fullness with external things. We must become aware of our true potential here and now. And if you notice, the 10 coins make reference to the 10 spheres of the Tree of Life, which are not only 10, because they come from the Finality and the Will. 12 are the fruits of the Tree of Life. The main problem are all the obstacles, or our false thoughts, false emotions, false sentiments. And that blockage, that obstruction of life, is rooted on subconscious and unconscious perceptions, a wrong use of language. We speak very imprecisely very often. This is why I've written an extended article, an essay, explaining the origin of many important words in our language. I'll translate it and leave it on the blog. You have it on Spanish already. Meanwhile, you have also the links to the web and the blog. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you very much for listening, and continue following me in this extraordinary journey of self-discovery, the way of true life.